Hello, everyone, and welcome to Real Life Matters with Sandra. I'm continuing with my series on 7 deadly sins. I've got another good friend of mine here today to talk about wrath in particular. So, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Dot Grobler. I'm a long-time friend of Sandra's, and I'm looking forward to this broadcast. I'm a grandmother, a mother of 4, and so a lifetime of experiences to discuss here this morning.
Thank you, Dot. And yes, I can't wait for us to get stuck into this. Wrath, it's really amazing when we're talking about 7 deadly sins. And a lot of people, some people may not have heard of them. Some people may have heard of them, but in a different context. So today we're going to be talking about real life, in terms of how we see it demonstrated around us. And also sometimes, we have been party to that as well in terms of, demonstrating, some aspects of the 7 deadly sins ourselves and how we cope with things like that and how we get better at it. So today we're talking about wrath, as I said, So in your view, what does that mean? What is wrath?
I think it's anger to such a degree that you're close to losing control, that the anger is taking over. And I think it goes beyond just when you say anger or angry, it's not quite as forceful as wrath. So I can understand why the word is used as one of the deadly sins. And I think you find it with people with road rage. It builds up. You find it with neighbors having continuous issues, it builds up. So yes, I think it's when it goes beyond control. It's when it really comes out.
So it's more like a rage, going into a rage, an explosion of emotions, if you like,
I think so. I don't think it's spontaneous. I don't think it's spontaneous. I think it builds up to get to that point.
And what do you think are the things that makes it build up? What kind of things? So for example, let's take the road rage one that you talked about, and we've all experienced it before. You're driving down the motorway or any of the roads, and there's someone behind you tailgating you. What do you think has in a way helped to build up that rage in somebody, that they react?
I think if you've been driving for quite a bit, you've gone on a visit or something, a long distance thing, and you've been around busy roads, and then you hit the motorway, and as you said, you have people tailgating, or you give people. I think one of my pet hates is when you give people a gap, or you slow down for people to come in, and they don't say thank you. I think, and stupid things like that can build up, or they do silly things on the motorway, that can be life-threatening. And when you've had enough of those, it kind of like builds up, and eventually you're so mad, you just want to drive everybody off the road.
And I suppose you're right, Dot. It's not just the things that happen on the road on that particular day. It could be because you've experienced something similar before in the past, and that gets triggered when you see it happening to you again. Or it could well be that we've had an argument with a neighbor, with a family member, with a friend or whoever, or had a bad day at work, and then someone just kind of triggers it on the road, or even on the tubes. You're going down on the tubes and trains, and someone barged you, and you're thinking, gosh, why did you do that? And that kind of easily escalate into something completely
my children have got a saying: watch out for Mars peak because I've got a habit of building things up. You know, I take from them and I take from them and I take from them, but then comes the day and I just lose the plot with them, you know, and I'm so angry. So yeah, they've got this joke between them: watch out for more 6-month peak, they call it. Yeah.
So really, the talk about revenge being sweet, you know, is it really though?
Oh no, I don't think so. I think revenge is the other side of envy. I think when somebody's got something, or that you are upset that you didn't get, and then they lose, say it's a very affluent family or something, and you've always been kind of like jealous of what they've got, you don't have, and then something goes wrong and they lose it, and then you think, well, you know, they deserved it, you know. That's so no, it's not, because it's not sweet at all to have revenge. I can't think of anybody I want revenge on at this particular point, so I'm trying to think of a scenario. But the way I am, I don't think I could take pleasure in someone else's downfall, even, but I can understand where the revenge comes from. Or, you know, if someone's lost a family member to a horrendous crime or something, you know, and then they say, oh, you know, they'll get their just desserts, and, you know, they're out for justice, and you go and you lobby for them to be put away for life or something like that. It brings to mind an American family. Their daughter was a student, and she went out to work in South Africa, in Cape Town. She went out to work in what was known as the townships. She went to the university there and everything like that. Anyway, she was brutally murdered. And when her case came to trial, her parents flew out. They were obviously very affluent people, and they flew out. They were there for the duration of the trial. I think there was 4 or 5 people that were on trial. And when the thing was over and they were interviewed, and they asked the mother, you know, are you satisfied with the outcome and that? And she said they're just very sad their daughter's gone, but they forgive them. They're Christians, and they forgive them. They're not holding anything against them. And that to me was like a really strong example, because if something happened to one of my children like that, I don't know if I would be as easy. I would be out for blood. I would be out for revenge. So yeah, I think revenge, how can you get revenge? You just can't.
I don't think you're right. I agree with you. I don't think revenge is sweet in any way, shape or form. You know, when one has been, and that's a really sad story of the American family who lost their daughter, parents who lost their daughter. That is the ultimate, isn't it, really, to be honest, ultimate pain anyone could go through, particularly as nature says that the children are meant to go after the parents, and not the other way around, and not so brutally as well. You know, to think that revenge would be sweet for them, in what way at all will that take away the pain that they were going through? There is no way.
Yeah.
But then again, maybe one can understand why some people might say revenge is sweet, you know, because they feel that they would have that satisfaction. But that satisfaction, it's not sustainable. It's not something that will go on for a very long time, actually, once they've done that revenge. And I think, yeah, you're right. I don't know whether, you know, God forbid that I'm in that situation, how would I react, to be honest? I don't know how I would react.
I agree. I don't know how I would react either. I pray that, you know, I don't go overboard.
Yeah, it's a very difficult thing. So how does one then deal with anger to the point where it doesn't go to the boiling point and become a complete rage and, you know, lead to destruction, really, to be honest.
Yes.
How can someone, you know, kind of manage their upset or anger to the point where it doesn't kind of, you know, become a full-blown rage?
Yeah. So I suppose there's a few things, like, you know, if something upsets you, you know, the old saying is count to 10. In some cases, I've got to count to 100 when the right buttons are pushed. But at that particular moment, it's not easy to rationalize. Well, I wouldn't say rationalize a bit strong, but it's not easy to put this into practice. If something has made you angry, it takes time. But for instance, when I was, you know, when you married early and stuff like that, there's a lot of niggly things. You got to get used to each other and things like that. So there's niggly things, and you have stupid little arguments and things like. And then there comes a time where that doesn't happen anymore. You still get upset in that, but then I'd rather walk around the block before I have an argument about it. You know, I'd rather go and cool off and take a walk rather than make something small into something big. So there's different ways, I guess, going for a walk, counting to 100, or just leaving the room, actually, just going to another room, just walking away from something, going to do something you like. I think there's a few things. With a road rage, it's a bit more difficult because you can't go anywhere, you're stuck in the traffic. So maybe if you've had a bad experience, talk about it when you get home, or ever, you know, talk about it so that you get it off your chest. It's always good to talk and get things out of, you know. So
I think for me, it's also about, you know, listening to music, you know, dancing, talking to other people. I like that. Counting to 100, or in my case, it'd probably be 1,000, to be honest, particularly with road rage, because you just feel like, why have they done this to me? You know, we both have the right to be on the road, you know, and why have they taken it upon themselves to make my life difficult on the road? So for me, it'll be like full blast music, just trying to drown it out of me, out of my head, you know, and just smiling as well sometimes, even though it's hard, you know, just smiling through difficulties. I know it's difficult for a lot of people to do that, but I find that helps me as well.
Yeah, it's humility, isn't it? It's humbling, you know, it's I can understand that. I must try the music one. I like that.
Yeah,
actually, I always put the radio blast, and it's just put it louder.
Absolutely, especially if you've got like a CD that you like, that really brings you good memories, you know, make you feel good about yourself, you know, just press that button on that. And for me, that helps kind of diffuse the anger and the build up, if you like, of that. So try that. It works for me anyway.
Yes.
So, let's just move on to something else that I was thinking about in terms of wrath. You know, can it affect our health, anger? How can it affect our health? Because I think it kind of links in very well with
it does.
Particularly mental health as well, not just the physical.
Yeah. So like you say, mental health, mentally, it just messes with your mind. You know, you start seeing things that aren't there. You start imagining things that's not necessary. But also, you know, you've heard of people saying when they're so cross, they get this knot in their stomach. Like when you're afraid of something, you get this knot, almost like adrenaline gain. I don't think it's particularly healthy at all, and can affect you in many ways. It's I suppose another form of wrath can be, you know, financial issues, when you tend to get angry quicker because you've got financial problems, and that, you know, can lead to all kinds of things. You can get an ulcer from worrying about things. So well, we've heard about people having a heart attack, getting so cross they have a heart attack or something like that. You know, what about your blood pressure shooting sky high? So yes, I think there's definitely a health issues in it. So
yeah, I think for me, what I notice is I get headaches.
Oh yes.
I get headaches. I mean, for me, that's a warning sign. Apart from lack of fluid in me, because I haven't drank water or something, you know. But I get a headache, you know, when that.
So that's your blood pressure.
Exactly, that's linked to blood pressure. Exactly. So it's trying to make sure that we keep it under control, and so as not to get it to that stage. And that's why all these little things, these tips that we're saying about, you know, counting to 10 or 100 or whatever it might be for you, you know, listening to music, dancing, leaving the room, going out, going for a walk, all those things kind of help to lower the blood pressure, lower the build up, and particularly with mental health, you know, you start seeing things that are not there. Someone says something that it's really kind of just genuine, and there is no hidden agenda to it. And because there's anger building up, one takes offense, you know, and think that they're having a pop at them or things like that, you know.
No, I was just thinking while you were talking also about you know, when you think things, when you're upset, when someone says something, and your reaction, sometimes you want to physically harm the other person, and you know that brings all sorts of things that you know you don't want. So
I think that is just gone too far. That's just gone way too far. If one is feeling that they're going to harm somebody for what they have said or done or whatever, you know, I know for us as Christians, the Bible says, you know, revenge is for the Lord. So you just leave it. You just leave it there to the Lord to deal with, rather than you having to deal with that, because we don't know what that individual is going through either, that's making them behave or behave in the way they behave, or speak the things that they speak and things like that. They might be going through some challenges themselves. I'm not trying to excuse people's bad behavior, but sometimes we don't see the full picture, do we? We don't really see the other person. They don't see us and what we're going through. So when the two heated moments meet,
collide,
exactly, it can kind of explode. And that's why it's always good to just leave it to the Lord, because the Lord sees everything, you know, sees what the person is going through and what we're going through at the time, and hopefully help us to deal with that as well. Prayerfully help us to deal with that. So the opposite of wrath is obviously forgiveness.
Yes.
You know, so let's take let's go there. Let's go there. How easy is it to forgive?
It's not easy. You know, people say, oh, forgive and forget. But, you know, you say, oh, I forgive. Like you say, as Christians, we have to forgive, because it's not up to us to judge people. But do you really forget? You know, and when you revisit it, does that mean you haven't forgiven? So, yeah, I think that's one of the hardest things. I had a friend who said to me, don't go and sleep at night until you've forgiven everybody of the day. So I tried it the first time, and I was lying in bed and I was thinking, who don't I forgive? Of course, that was bad for my sleep, because then
you wouldn't be able to sleep.
I couldn't sleep. But thinking of the people that I was angry with, thinking of people that had done something to me personally, I take things very personal. It's the hardest thing to forgive them, to say I forgive them. Because I know in a week's time I'll still remember what it was about. I wish I didn't remember, but I've got an elephant's memory for remembering things. But it's the most difficult thing to do, is to forgive. It's easy to be humble. I have to say, it's easier to be humble than to forgive. So,
but then again, forgiveness, I know it's hard, you know, because I have issues with that as well, if I'm being honest. And I remember prayerfully, I'd been praying about it, and it's getting better now. So what I pray for is for forgetfulness, for me to forget whatever
I should do that.
The wrong that was done to me, to forget the detail, because I know some people will remember the detail up to the point of what the actual person spoke.
Yes.
You know, the words they spoke. For me, I've been praying over the years not to remember any of those, and it works for me. But apart from that, I think forgiveness is also about your own personal well-being again.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, because you're not revisiting the hurt, the pain. So you're feeling better with yourself, either mentally or physically, as we described about the physical evidence of rage, of anger, being that you have headaches, high blood pressure, and all of those kind of things. You know, you don't feel those anymore because you've forgiven the person, or you know, or you forget about the hurt. So there is that aspect as well. So is it, people talk about forgiveness as reaching out to the person that has done you wrong, that helps them as well.
Yeah.
Kind of forgive, you know.
But what happens when they don't accept it? That's, you know, I've had that experience as well, where, you know, you try and make up, you want to forget what has happened, you want to move on, you want to keep on your friendship or with a colleague or whatever, and then they don't accept it. You know, that is extremely difficult.
Could it be because they are still not where you are in terms of mentally, have not processed the whole experience and reach a point where they think, actually, maybe I've done wrong, maybe I contributed to this, and take responsibility for their part in the situation. So because we all at a different journeys and different levels of understanding as well. So maybe that's what it is. Maybe I
never thought of it that way, but yes, it's possible.
And then maybe leave it for however long, and then revisit that with the individual to see. Because I think, without going too religious about this, Jesus talked about forgiving somebody how many times?
Yeah. 70 times 7, yeah.
Exactly. So if they said,
I've gone beyond that. I think I've gone beyond that. After all these years, I think I've gone beyond that. So a lot more occasions where I need to, you know, I need to ask for forgiveness as well. So yes.
Yeah, I think we all do from time to time. I'm sure we hurt people unintentionally, our loved ones particularly, and yes, you know, one thing is definitely acknowledging that and taking responsibility, and then asking for their forgiveness as well. And if they say no at that point, it's not because they don't want to particularly, it's just that they're on a different journey, they're on a different trajectory than us, and maybe if we understood that, it would help in a way to cope better.
Yes.
Another thing I want us to just kind of touch on quite quickly, it's around, some people say that social media sometimes is a breeding ground for people to make or post aggressive materials. What do you think?
Oh, definitely. I like the social media. It's been wonderful for me because I've met up with people that I haven't seen or spoken to in years. I've rekindled school friendships after 40 years because of social media. And that's exactly what it should be. It should be social media for social, being social with each other. But yes, there's a lot of hate speeches that go up. There's a lot of intimidation that goes up. I remember when it started, people used to say, "Oh, I've got so many friends on Facebook," comparing how many friends you've got. But then as it's gone along, people have become more discerning, and they've cut out a lot of people that they had on their Facebook. There's another one, LinkedIn, for work purposes. It's good to put your profile up on that. So no, I like the social media. My husband doesn't, although he goes on mine, and he does go on mine. But some of the stuff, you can't believe what people put up. You really can't. I would think 50 times before I put up a post if it was in any way offensive to someone. And it's got a lot of influence, I think, particularly to young people. And I know my one child is not bothered about being on Facebook with me, but I've got one child that is definitely, can't like Ma's posts, you shouldn't be seen to be on the same Facebook as your mother, and so it's it's got a lot of influence in today's life, social media, and there's things that are very upsetting that get posted there too.
So how can we protect ourselves? Because I know it's very difficult to stop people doing that, because people are people. We're all kind of different. We're all from a different background. We all have different values. We all have different, if you like, ethos and ethics and understanding and all of that. But how can one protect oneself from, vile things? Yes.
So if I see something that doesn't look particularly kosher, then I hide the thing. I take it off. If it's one of my media friends or something, because there's a lot of, I've got friends on there, but it's acquaintances.
Mm-hmm.
It's people you meet at some point, but you're not friends, you're acquaintances. And then I will just hide them as well for 30 days. If they continue on the same thing, the negativity and stuff like that, then I will unfriend them. So I think it's just about taking responsibility. If you don't like something, why subject yourself to it?
You're so right. I've had cases where I've read someone's post and I just didn't agree with them because they were not right. The language, the tone was not right, and I kind of hide that. And I've taken to a point where I don't even go on social media that much anymore. Just take a break, just take a break, protect yourself. Don't worry too much about what people say, because there will always be people that will not like what you're doing. There will always be people that have issues with even who you are. The best thing is not to mind those people. They obviously, like you said, they're not friends, they're acquaintances. And because if they're genuinely your friends, they wouldn't be saying things or be posting things that will upset other people. Because it's not just been said about you, but it's actually what they say in general. Is what you look at. So you pick your friends. That's the reason why they always say pick your friends carefully. And also show me your friends, and I'll tell you who you are, basically. So you need to pick your friends very carefully. In terms of acquaintances, then of course you can easily block them, or even some social media network have a way of reporting. So one can use that as well. Is there anything else that you're dying to say that I haven't covered or haven't asked about?
No, I think you've got it. You've got the health, you've got the revenge, you've got the forgiveness, you've got everything.
Yeah, and I always like to leave people with tips. And we talked about the tips earlier. Do you just want to remind us what those were
Um,
of how to deal with anger in terms of
yeah.
walking out?
So yeah, putting the music on, dancing, walking around, leaving the room, going to do something you like, going down memory lane with something.
Yes.
Yeah, I think there's some, and then if I think of the forgiveness is,
I think for the
praying to forget
yes.
the deed rather than praying to forgive. Pray to forget the deed. That's a very good idea. I must try that because, I like I said, I build it all up. And yeah, I need to do away with that.
I think we all do, Dot. We all do to an extent. But I think the best thing is just to keep reminding ourselves, those things. It's not easy. It's not easy being human by the sound of it, even.
I know.
There's so much that we have to
work at it. Yeah. It's like marriage. You have to work at it every day.
Every day.
You can't be complacent at all. You have to work at it.
Yeah. You have to work at being better, a better self, if you like, every day, because we all have different experiences every day. And you can call on your past knowledge of the issue or things like that. But because we're all different, it might have worked in the circumstance that you were in previously, but not necessarily with the one that you're in right now. So you learn new things from that and be open to learning. I think is really important. I think that's what life is about.
If you've got we've all got role models. We've got people we look up to and things like that. Take a leaf out of their book, sort of thing. Try and do what they do. Because some people just handle things so well. And if you see, take a good example like you gave me on the music, I never thought about that. I've always got music playing in the car, but put a CD in that you like, or just turn it up when someone, or start dancing. Oh, I dance in the car. I do go with a music in the car. If it's something I like, I do get the moves. So yes.
It's been absolutely amazing talking to you today, Dot.
Oh, I enjoyed it as well.
So let me just tell our viewers, if there's any topic that you'd like me to cover, let me know by dropping it in the comment section. And also, I'd like to hear your views and your experiences. Drop those down in the comment section as well. And don't forget to share this video with your friends and your family. And please subscribe to my channel. And it's from me today, Real Life Matters with Sandra and with my very good friend Dot. And thank you, and we will see you soon. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.